Good morning, everyone. Dr. James Whittaker here. And today we're going to talk about something that might surprise you. We're going to discuss how three specific teas can actually help improve leg strength, enhance energy levels, and support overall vitality in people over 60. Now, before you dismiss this as just another wellness fad or think that tea is too simple to make a real difference, let me tell you that the compounds in these teas have been studied extensively in clinical research, and the mechanisms by which they work are well understood and scientifically validated. What I'm about to share with you isn't folk medicine or wishful thinking. It's evidence-based nutrition that can complement your other health strategies to help you maintain the strength, mobility, and energy that define quality of life as we age. Before we dive into the specific teas and how to use them properly, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm a board-certified physician who spent over 2 decades helping patients optimize their health through both conventional medicine and evidence-based natural approaches. If you find value in what we discuss today, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Now, let me start by addressing why leg strength and energy levels are so critically important, particularly for seniors. Leg strength is perhaps the single best predictor of healthy aging and longevity. Your legs contain your largest muscle groups, and maintaining strength in these muscles is essential for balance, mobility, independence, and metabolic health. When leg strength declines, everything else becomes harder. Getting up from a chair, climbing stairs, walking distances, maintaining balance, all of these daily activities that we take for granted become challenging or impossible. Loss of leg strength is the primary driver of falls, which are the leading cause of injury, disability, and loss of independence in seniors. Beyond mobility, leg strength is also a marker of overall muscle mass, and maintaining muscle mass as we age is crucial for metabolic health, blood sugar regulation, and even cognitive function. Energy levels are equally important because they determine your ability to remain active, engaged, and independent. Chronic fatigue is one of the most common complaints I hear from patients over 60, and it dramatically reduces quality of life. Let me know in the comments below what country you're watching from and whether you're currently experiencing issues with leg strength or energy levels. I'm always interested to see our global community, and your engagement helps this information reach more people who need it. Now, before we get to the specific teas, I want to explain the mechanisms by which certain compounds can actually support muscle strength and energy production, because understanding this will help you appreciate why these aren't just pleasant beverages. They're functional interventions. Muscle strength and energy production both depend on healthy mitochondrial function. Mitochondria are the tiny powerhouses inside your cells that produce ATP, the energy currency your body uses for everything from muscle contraction to brain function. As we age, mitochondrial function naturally declines. We produce fewer mitochondria, the ones we have become less efficient, and they accumulate damage from oxidative stress. This decline in mitochondrial function is a primary driver of age-related muscle weakness and fatigue. Certain plant compounds called polyphenols can actually support mitochondrial health through multiple mechanisms. They reduce oxidative stress that damages mitochondria. They can stimulate the production of new mitochondria through a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. They improve mitochondrial efficiency so you produce more ATP from the same amount of nutrients, and they help maintain the integrity of muscle cells. Additionally, some compounds can improve blood flow to muscles, ensuring adequate oxygen and nutrient delivery, reduce inflammation that interferes with muscle function and recovery, support the nervous system's ability to activate muscles effectively, and help stabilize blood sugar, providing steady energy rather than spikes and crashes. The three teas I'm going to recommend today all contain specific compounds that work through these mechanisms, and they've all been studied in clinical research with measurable benefits for strength, energy, or both. Let me be clear about expectations from the start. These teas are not magic bullets that will transform weak legs into strong ones overnight. They are supportive interventions that work best when combined with appropriate exercise, particularly resistance training, adequate protein intake, sufficient sleep, and management of underlying health conditions. But when used consistently as part of a comprehensive approach, they can provide real, measurable benefits. Now let's get to the first tea, and this one is perhaps the most surprising because most people think of it as just a pleasant beverage, not a functional health tool. The first tea I recommend for leg strength and energy is high-quality green tea. Green tea contains a specific category of polyphenols called catechins, and the most powerful of these is EGCG, Epigallocatechin galati. EGCG has been extensively studied and has multiple effects that support muscle strength and energy. First, EGCG promotes mitochondrial biogenesis, literally helping your cells produce more mitochondria. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that green tea extract increased fat oxidation and improved exercise performance, suggesting enhanced mitochondrial function. Second, EGCG has been shown to help preserve muscle mass during aging. Research in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry demonstrated that EGCG can reduce age-related muscle loss through multiple pathways, including reducing inflammation and oxidative stress in muscle tissue. Third, green tea improves insulin sensitivity, which is crucial for energy levels and muscle health. Better insulin sensitivity means your muscles can more effectively take up glucose for energy production. Fourth, the combination of catechins and the small amount of caffeine in green tea has been shown to increase energy expenditure and fat oxidation, which can improve body composition by reducing fat while preserving muscle. And fifth, green tea compounds have been shown to improve blood flow and vascular function, ensuring that muscles receive adequate oxygen and nutrients. Now, not all green tea is created equal, and how you prepare it matters significantly. For maximum benefit, you want high-quality loose-leaf green tea, ideally Japanese varieties like sencha or gyokuro, which tend to have higher catechin content than Chinese varieties. Organic is preferable to minimize pesticide exposure. You want to brew it properly because water that's too hot will destroy some of the beneficial compounds and make the tea bitter. The optimal temperature is between 160 and 180 degrees Fahrenheit, not boiling. Let the water cool for a couple of minutes after boiling before pouring it over the tea. Steep for 2 to 3 minutes, not longer, as oversteeping increases bitterness without increasing benefits. The optimal consumption pattern for green tea is 2 to 3 cups daily, spread throughout the day. I typically recommend 1 cup mid-morning and 1 or 2 cups in the early afternoon. Avoid green tea in the evening because the caffeine content can interfere with sleep, and poor sleep will undermine everything else you're doing for strength and energy. One important consideration with green tea is that it can interfere with iron absorption if consumed with meals. The tannins in tea bind to iron, reducing its bioavailability. If you have iron deficiency or are at risk for it, drink your green tea between meals rather than with food, at least an hour before or 2 hours after eating. For most people without iron issues, this isn't a major concern, but it's worth being aware of. Some people are sensitive to the caffeine in green tea and experience jitteriness or anxiety. If this describes you, you have 2 options. You can try decaffeinated green tea, which still contains the beneficial catechins, but with minimal caffeine, or you can switch to the second tea I'm going to recommend, which is naturally caffeine-free. Let me share a patient story that illustrates green tea's potential. Margaret was 73 years old when she came to see me complaining of progressive leg weakness that was making it difficult to climb stairs and get up from low chairs. She'd also noticed declining energy levels that limited her daily activities. We implemented a comprehensive program, including twice-weekly strength training, focusing on legs, increased protein intake to support muscle maintenance, and I recommended she start drinking 2 cups of high-quality green tea daily, 1 mid-morning and 1 early afternoon. Margaret was skeptical that something as simple as tea could make a difference, but she was willing to try. After 3 months of this combined approach, Margaret reported significant improvement in both leg strength and energy. She could climb stairs without holding the railing, getting up from chairs was easy again, and she had the energy to resume her daily walks and gardening that she'd stopped doing. Was the green tea the sole reason for her improvement? No. The strength training and protein were also crucial. But the tea provided additional support for mitochondrial function, blood flow, and muscle preservation that enhanced the benefits of her other interventions. Now let's talk about the second tea, and this one is my top recommendation for people who are sensitive to caffeine or who prefer to avoid stimulants entirely. The second tea I recommend is rooibos tea, also called red bush tea, which originates from South Africa. Rooibos is naturally caffeine-free, making it suitable for any time of day, including evening, and it contains a unique profile of antioxidant compounds, including aspalathin and nothofagin, that aren't found in other teas. Here's why rooibos is particularly valuable for leg strength and energy in seniors. First, rooibos has powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Chronic low-grade inflammation, often called inflammaging, is a major driver of muscle loss and fatigue in older adults. The polyphenols in rooibos have been shown to reduce inflammatory markers and oxidative stress. A study in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that rooibos consumption reduced oxidative stress and improved antioxidant status in adults. Second, rooibos supports cardiovascular health and blood flow. Good circulation is essential for delivering oxygen and nutrients to muscles and for removing metabolic waste products. Research has shown that rooibos can improve endothelial function, the health of the inner lining of blood vessels, which directly impacts blood flow to muscles. Third, aspalathin, the unique compound found predominantly in rooibos, has been shown to improve glucose metabolism and insulin sensitivity. Better blood sugar control means more stable energy throughout the day, rather than the spikes and crashes that cause fatigue. A study in phytomedicine demonstrated that aspalathin improved glucose homeostasis and reduced insulin resistance. Fourth, rooibos contains significant amounts of minerals, including magnesium, calcium, and potassium, all of which are important for muscle function. While tea isn't a primary source of these minerals, every bit contributes, particularly if you're drinking multiple cups daily. And fifth, because rooibos is caffeine-free, it won't interfere with sleep the way caffeinated teas can. Since quality sleep is absolutely essential for muscle recovery, energy restoration, and overall health, having a beneficial tea option that you can drink in the evening is valuable. For rooibos tea, preparation is simpler than green tea because you don't have to worry about temperature damaging the compounds. Use boiling water in the steep for 5 to 10 minutes to extract the full range of beneficial compounds. Rooibos actually improves with longer steeping, becoming richer and more flavorful without becoming bitter. I recommend drinking 2 to 4 cups of rooibos daily. Because it's caffeine-free, you can have it anytime, including evening. Many of my patients develop a routine of green tea in the morning and early afternoon for the metabolic and energy boost, and then rooibos in the late afternoon and evening to continue antioxidant and anti-inflammatory support without disrupting sleep. Rooibos has a naturally sweet, slightly nutty flavor that most people find pleasant without any additions. However, if you prefer, you can add a small amount of honey, though I'd encourage you to gradually reduce sweetener over time as your taste adapts. Avoid adding milk or cream to rooibos, as the proteins can bind to the polyphenols and reduce their bioavailability. One important note about rooibos is that, like green tea, it contains tannins that can interfere with iron absorption. If you have iron deficiency, the same advice applies. Drink rooibos between meals rather than with food. For the vast majority of people without iron issues, this is not a concern. Another patient example illustrates rooibos benefits. Robert was 68 and had been experiencing chronic fatigue that his doctor attributed to normal aging. His energy was so low that he'd stopped his regular activities, including his morning walks and weekly golf games. He was also dealing with chronic low back pain and general stiffness. Blood work showed elevated inflammatory markers. We addressed multiple factors, including his diet, sleep quality, and activity level, and I recommended he drink 3 to 4 cups of rooibos daily, with the last cup in the evening about an hour before bed. Robert found the routine easy to maintain because he enjoyed the taste and appreciated having a warm, comforting beverage in the evening that didn't contain caffeine. After about 6 weeks, Robert reported noticeable improvement in both energy and the chronic achiness he'd been experiencing. His inflammatory markers decreased on follow-up testing, and he'd resumed his walking and golf. He attributed much of his improvement to the combination of dietary changes and the consistent rooibos consumption, which he said seemed to help him feel generally better and more capable. Now let's discuss the third tea, and this one specifically targets energy levels and mental stamina alongside physical strength. The third tea I recommend is yerba mate, a traditional South American beverage that's technically a tisane rather than a true tea, but it's prepared and consumed similarly. Yerba mate contains a unique combination of caffeine, theobromine, and polyphenols that provide sustained energy without the jittery crash that often comes from coffee. Here's why yerba mate is particularly valuable for seniors concerned about energy and strength. First, yerba mate provides a balanced, sustained energy boost. Unlike coffee, which delivers a rapid caffeine spike followed by a crash, yerba mate provides more gradual, longer-lasting energy. This is due to the combination of caffeine with theobromine and the buffering effect of the polyphenols. Many people report that yerba mate gives them energy and mental clarity without the jitters or anxiety that coffee can cause. Second, yerba mate is extremely rich in antioxidants, even more so than green tea in some studies. A paper in the Journal of Food Science found that yerba mate had higher antioxidant capacity than green tea and comparable levels to red wine. These antioxidants support mitochondrial health and reduce the oxidative stress that impairs muscle function. Third, yerba mate has been shown to enhance fat metabolism and improve body composition. A study in the Journal of Human Nutrition and Dietetics found that yerba mate consumption increased fat oxidation during exercise. Better body composition, meaning less fat and more muscle, directly translates to better strength and function. Fourth, yerba mate improves insulin sensitivity and glucose metabolism. Research published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology showed that yerba mate improved glucose tolerance and reduced insulin resistance. Stable blood sugar means stable energy and better muscle function. Fifth, some research suggests that yerba mate may actually help preserve muscle mass during weight loss, which is particularly important for seniors who need to lose fat but cannot afford to lose muscle. And sixth, the combination of caffeine and theobromine in yerba mate may improve exercise performance and recovery. Several studies have shown that yerba mate consumption before exercise improves endurance and reduces perceived exertion. For seniors trying to maintain or rebuild leg strength through exercise, anything that makes exercise feel easier and improves recovery is valuable. Now, yerba mate requires some specific guidance because it contains caffeine and because traditional preparation methods may have some concerns. Yerba mate contains roughly 85 milligrams of caffeine per 8-ounce cup, comparable to coffee. This means you need to be mindful of timing and amount to avoid sleep disruption. I recommend drinking yerba mate in the morning and possibly early afternoon, but not after 3 p.m. to ensure it doesn't interfere with sleep. 1 to 2 cups daily is sufficient for most people to experience benefits without excessive caffeine intake. For preparation, you can buy yerba mate tea bags for convenience, which is perfectly acceptable and what I usually recommend to patients starting out. Simply steep 1 tea bag in hot but not boiling water, similar to green tea preparation, for 3 to 5 minutes. Yerba mate has a distinctive, somewhat earthy or grassy flavor that takes some getting used to. Some people love it immediately, while others need time to adapt. You can add a small amount of honey or lemon if the taste is too strong initially. There's one important caution about yerba mate that needs to be mentioned. Some epidemiological studies from South America have found associations between very high yerba mate consumption and increased risk of certain cancers, particularly esophageal cancer. However, these studies typically involve people drinking extremely large amounts, often a liter or more daily, and consuming it at very high temperatures, which can damage the esophagus. Drinking 1 to 2 cups daily at a reasonable temperature appears to be safe and is not associated with these risks. If you have any history of esophageal problems or concerns about cancer risk, discuss yerba mate with your doctor before starting. For most people, moderate consumption is safe and beneficial. Let me share another patient story. Thomas was 71 and had been struggling with severe afternoon energy crashes that left him unable to do much after lunch. He'd also noticed declining leg strength that made his afternoon walks increasingly difficult. He was drinking multiple cups of coffee throughout the day, which was disrupting his sleep and creating a vicious cycle of fatigue. We made several changes, including shifting him away from coffee to yerba mate. Thomas started drinking 1 cup of yerba mate in the morning and 1 in early afternoon, and nothing caffeinated after that. We also added specific leg strengthening exercises twice weekly and increased his protein intake. Within a month, Thomas reported that his energy was much more stable throughout the day, his afternoon crashes had resolved, and he had the stamina to complete his walks and even extend them. His sleep improved significantly once we eliminated the late-day coffee. He attributed much of his improvement to the yerba mate, which gave him the energy boost he needed without the negative effects he'd been experiencing from coffee. Now let me discuss how to integrate these teas into a comprehensive approach to maintaining and improving leg strength and energy. These teas work best when combined with other evidence-based strategies. First and most importantly, resistance training is essential. No amount of tea will build leg strength if you're not using your leg muscles against resistance. I recommend that every senior, unless they have specific contraindications, engage in leg-focused resistance training at least twice weekly. This can be bodyweight exercises like squats, lunges, and step-ups, or it can involve resistance bands, machines, or weights. The key is progressive overload, gradually increasing the challenge over time. If you're new to strength training or have concerns about safety, work with a physical therapist or qualified trainer who has experience with older adults. Second, adequate protein intake is crucial. Your muscles need amino acids to maintain and build strength, and most seniors don't eat enough protein. I recommend at least 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight daily, and preferably closer to 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilogram for seniors actively trying to maintain or build muscle. This means if you weigh 70 kilograms, about 154 pounds, you should be eating at least 70 to 105 grams of protein daily, distributed across your meals. Third, overall diet quality matters. A diet rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, healthy fats, and adequate protein provides the nutrients your muscles and mitochondria need to function optimally. Anti-inflammatory foods like fatty fish, berries, leafy greens, and nuts complement the anti-inflammatory effects of the teas we've discussed. Fourth, sleep quality is non-negotiable. Muscle recovery, mitochondrial repair, and energy restoration all happen during sleep. If you're not sleeping well, no amount of tea or exercise will fully compensate. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep nightly in a dark, cool room with consistent bed and wake times. Fifth, manage underlying health conditions that affect energy and strength. Thyroid dysfunction, anemia, vitamin D deficiency, B12 deficiency, diabetes, heart disease, and chronic inflammation all impair muscle strength and energy production. Work with your doctor to identify and treat any underlying conditions. And sixth, stay consistently active throughout the day beyond formal exercise. Frequent movement, even just standing up and walking around every hour, helps maintain muscle function and energy levels. Long periods of sitting are detrimental regardless of how much you exercise at other times. Now let me give you a practical implementation plan for incorporating these teas into your daily routine. Start with one tea first rather than trying to implement all three at once. I usually recommend starting with whichever appeals to you most or addresses your primary concern. If you're mainly concerned about energy and can tolerate caffeine, start with green tea or yerba mate. If you're sensitive to caffeine or primarily concerned about inflammation and want something you can drink anytime, including evening, start with rooibos. Implement your chosen tea consistently for at least 4 weeks before evaluating results. Benefits are cumulative and may not be immediately obvious. Keep a simple log noting your energy levels and any changes in strength or function so you can objectively assess whether it's helping. After you're consistent with one tea, you can add a second if desired. A common pattern I recommend is green tea or yerba mate in the morning and early afternoon for energy and metabolic benefits, and rooibos in the late afternoon and evening for anti-inflammatory and antioxidant benefits without disrupting sleep. Quality matters significantly with all three of these teas. Buy organic when possible to minimize pesticide exposure. For green tea and yerba mate, buy from reputable sources and store in airtight containers away from light and heat to preserve the active compounds. Tea does lose potency over time, so buy quantities you'll use within a few months rather than storing large amounts. Prepare the teas properly as I've described, paying attention to water temperature for green tea and adequate steeping time for all three. Don't add sugar or excessive sweeteners, as this will spike your blood sugar and undermine the metabolic benefits. If you must sweeten, use minimal amounts of honey or stevia. Be patient and consistent. These are supportive interventions, not quick fixes. Benefits build over weeks and months of consistent use combined with other healthy habits. Now let me address some common questions and concerns. Can you drink too much tea? Yes, excessive consumption of caffeinated teas can lead to sleep problems, anxiety, and digestive issues. Excessive consumption of any tea, even rooibos, can interfere with iron absorption. Stick to the recommended amounts I've outlined: 2 to 3 cups daily of green tea, 2 to 4 cups of rooibos, and 1 to 2 cups of yerba mate are reasonable amounts for most people. What about tea supplements or extracts? While you can buy green tea extract, EGCG supplements, or other concentrated forms, I generally prefer actual tea for several reasons. The whole tea provides a complex mixture of compounds that work synergistically, and there's something to be said for the ritual of preparing and slowly sipping tea rather than just taking a pill. However, if you genuinely dislike tea or find it inconvenient, high-quality supplements can provide benefits. Just be cautious with dosing, as some supplements contain very high concentrations that may cause side effects. Will these teas interfere with medications? Generally, moderate tea consumption is safe with most medications, but there are some interactions to be aware of. Green tea can interact with blood thinners like warfarin because of its vitamin K content. If you're on warfarin, maintain consistent green tea intake rather than varying it dramatically. Caffeine-containing teas can interact with certain medications, including some blood pressure medications and stimulants. If you're on multiple medications, discuss adding these teas with your pharmacist or doctor. What if you don't like the taste of these teas? Give yourself time to adapt. Taste preferences can change, and what seems unpleasant initially often becomes enjoyable after consistent exposure. You can also try different brands and varieties, as there's significant variation in flavor profiles. Adding lemon, a small amount of honey, or in the case of yerba mate, trying different preparation methods can help. But if you genuinely cannot tolerate one of these teas after giving it a fair trial, simply choose a different one from the list or focus on the other strength and energy strategies. Before we wrap up, let me emphasize once more that these teas are part of a comprehensive approach, not a standalone solution. Margaret, Robert, and Thomas, the patients I mentioned, all implemented multiple changes simultaneously. The tea was one component that provided additional support, but it works synergistically with exercise, nutrition, sleep, and in some cases, treatment of underlying conditions. This is how real, lasting health improvement happens, through multiple small changes that compound over time. Let me summarize the key points. Green tea provides catechins, particularly EGCG, that support mitochondrial function, preserve muscle mass, and improve insulin sensitivity. Drink 2 to 3 cups daily, prepared with water at 160 to 180 degrees, steeped 2 to 3 minutes. Best consume mid-morning and early afternoon, not in evening due to caffeine content. Rooibos tea is caffeine-free and provides powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant benefits through unique compounds including aspartame. It supports blood flow, reduces inflammation, and improves glucose metabolism. Drink 2 to 4 cups daily, prepared with boiling water, steeped 5 to 10 minutes. Can be consumed anytime, including evening. Yerba mate provides sustained energy through balanced caffeine and theobromine content, along with abundant antioxidants that support mitochondrial health and fat metabolism. Drink 1 to 2 cups daily, prepared with hot but not boiling water, steeped 3 to 5 minutes. Best consumed morning and early afternoon only. All three teas work best when combined with resistance training, adequate protein intake, quality sleep, overall healthy diet, and management of underlying health conditions. Quality matters, so choose organic when possible and store properly. Be patient and consistent as benefits build over weeks and months. I want to hear from you in the comments. Which of these three teas are you most interested in trying? Are you currently drinking any of them already? What questions do you have about using tea to support your strength and energy? Your engagement helps me create content that serves you better. If you found this information valuable, please hit that like button so more seniors can discover these evidence-based natural strategies. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because next week I'm discussing the 5 best exercises for building leg strength after 60, including proper form and how to progress safely. That video will complement today's discussion perfectly, so you won't want to miss it. Check out my playlist on nutrition and natural health strategies for seniors. There are several videos there about using food and natural compounds to support healthy aging, all approached with the same evidence-based perspective. As always, the information in this video is for educational purposes only and should not replace individualized medical advice from your own healthcare provider. If you have specific health conditions or take medications, discuss adding these teas with your doctor. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we continue exploring practical, science-based strategies for maintaining strength, vitality, and independence as we age. Remember, aging doesn't mean inevitable decline. With the right strategies consistently applied, you can maintain and even improve your strength and energy well into your later decades. Take care.